23:16 through 20. Abraham accepted Ephron's offer and paid out the sum of Ephron. He named before the town council of the Hittites 400 silver shekels at the current exchange rate. So he buys it for the price that it's worth. He had favor with the men, which is important. God gave him favor in this place among pagans, and they had respect for him. To be used and be a light in the world has to have some form of respect for us. That doesn't mean if they don't that we're falling to where we shouldn't be. It just means that necessarily they may be too far in darkness for us to be used. Um, Verse 17 through 20. That's how Ephron's field next to Mamre, the field in its cave, and all the trees within its border became Abraham's property. Now it's important to note that this property was important to Abraham anyway beforehand. He met God at the trees of Mamre. This was a place he often lived at. This is why he would have chose this to bury his wife, because he loved this place. And they often spent time there. And this was also important to note that this is the only property the children of Israel legally owned until the time of Joshua in the Promised Land. The town council of the Hittites witnessed the transaction. Abraham then proceeded to bury his wife Sarah in the cave in the field of Machpelah, that is next to Mamre, present-day Hebron, in the land of Canaan. The field and its cave went to from the Hittites to Abraham's possession as a burial plot. So this would also be their main burial plot. This would be the place where Abraham was married. Isaac, Rebekah, Jacob, and Leah would all be buried at this place. It would be a very important burial plot for the patriarchs of Israel. But it did not, Abraham wasn't trying to buy God's blessing with the wealth God gave him. Abraham wasn't trying to trick and say, well, now I finally got a piece of land that God promised me. Abraham was simply focused on burying his wife. And the way he did it, he didn't want to be claimed that people made Abraham rich. God already warned him about that. So he paid for the land. Do I believe that God would have gave him that money back? Absolutely. He would have blessed him with that money back. But the fact is, God would not have had him have people claim that, well, we blessed Abraham with this. That's one reason why Abraham wanted to pay full price. So that they couldn't say they blessed him. And all times when we serve in this world, this is our viewpoint. We need to always be able to give praise back to God, not the man.